The citizens have experienced unimaginable suffering resulting from the challenges associated with bad and wickedly skilled leadership, styled as exemplified by our leadership at different strata. This part can be seen across the spectrum of our society. I remember the first meeting our team had to discuss about this year's edition of Future Leadership Conference. We were looking at possible theme for this conference, and everyone agreed that a discussion on leadership challenges in Nigeria would be appropriate. We have always had leadership in Nigeria, but unfortunately, it has been self-serving and a driver for life-threatening corruption. We see a new horizon in spite of Nigerians' failed leadership and seeing the major fails of our national life. We cannot continue to blame everyone or anyone for these failures as a nation, but rather let's take up the responsibility in bettering the nation and ensuring that transformational leaders become the gatekeepers of our nation. I see a new horizon in spite of our nation failure. Though my position about Nigeria being able to work again in our collective interest sound very ridiculous and unbelievable. It is even more worrisome when one considers the obvious high level of insecurity, banditry, killing. But it is time to take responsibility for our collective aspiration as a nation. Being pessimistic and indulging in unending complaint about what we're presently going through in this nation will not cut it. I believe strongly that we can institute the right model of leadership on our country. We have never seen lack, or rather, we have never had lack of both human and natural resources. Rather, our albatross has been bad leadership. If we are able to holistically address the issue of leadership in Nigeria, then taking our rightful place among the Committee of Nations will be a reality. I am so hopeful that there will be a day in the annals of our history when citizens will be bold enough not to vote against their conscience, just like we've been having. We see grown-up, taxable adults lining up to vote against their conscience. That will no longer be our way. You will agree with me in that an uninformed mind will always make deformed decisions, even in leadership. The elites have used poverty as a weapon to skew the thought pattern of Nigerians towards making wrong choices in power to keep themselves there against the will of the people. I have critically assessed our problem as a nation, and it has dawned on me that amidst all the challenges bedeviling us as a nation, the most predominant is leadership. It is believed that the greatness of any nation depends on the quality of leadership. The clamor for constitutional review and restructuring of Nigeria ought to be an unending debate. If we have a leader that thinks beyond selfishness and nepotism, we are proposing transformational leadership because it is structured on empathy and collective responsibility. Transformational leadership is a model of leadership where a leader works with his team of followers beyond their immediate self-interest or immediate benefits to identify needed change by creating a vision to guide the change through motivation, influence, inspiration, and executing the change in tandem with committed followers. This change in self-interest alleviates the followers' level of maturity and ideas, as well as their concern for the achievement. A transformational leader's behavior influences followers and inspires them to perform beyond their perceived capacity. That is achieving unexpected and remarkable feats. The 4 I's of transformational leadership are inspirational motivation, idealized influence, intellectual stimulation, and individualized consideration. Inspirational motivation is when the leader inspires the followers to achieve. These leaders set high and reasonable goals for their followers and their organizations. They inspire commitments and they create a shared vision for the organization. Leaders that utilize inspirational motivation motivate followers intrinsically and extrinsically, and they are able to articulate their expectation clearly. Inspirational motivation is closely tied to productivity. Productivity leads directly to having a source of worth and could be considered with both inspirational and visionary, leading to a positive emotional impact on the followers. Idealized influence is when the leader acts as a strong role model for their organization and lead by example. These types of leaders consider the needs of their followers and prioritize their needs. They typically have loads of commitment and are very ethical. Most often, their follower tries to emulate them as they tend to identify with them very easily. When subordinates try to emulate their leader, emotional attachment tends to form and enforce their dedication. Intellectual stimulation is when leaders encourage their followers to think for themselves. These leaders are creative, innovative, and are very open to new ideas. They tend to be very tolerant of their followers' mistakes and even encourage them as they believe they promote growth and improvement within the organization, and in this case, our nation. This leader creates learning opportunities for their followers and abandon obsolete practices. Individualized consideration is when the leader establishes a strong relationship with their followers. This leader acts as caring, supportive resource for their followers and their organization. They mentor their followers and allocate time to develop their followers' potential. One of the ways in which leaders can develop their followers is by delegating specific tasks that will foster their individual development. The above has further exposed that we have lack quality leadership in this country, especially since the return of democracy in 1999. Most of our elected appointed leaders have always considered their interest far above the citizens' interest. A transformational leader will always see himself in others. That is, he lives because others are living. Such leaders deserve and desire decent living for everyone, unlike what we currently experience in Nigeria. Our present crops of leaders in Nigeria needs mind renewal to be deliberately concerned about the citizen, because the essences of leadership, of government, are the citizen. What should bother us the most as a people is how we get the right model of leadership that will bring about the reality of a prosperous nation. Our collective prosperity lies in the prosperity of our nation. So we must be serious about resolving leadership problem or quagmire in Nigeria. It is on these notes I want to encourage everyone to be patient and get the best of this conference, as we have an array of prolific and experienced speakers. All that is aimed at bringing you the conversation that will bet a transformed Nigeria. Once again, I thank you for being in this conference, Future Leadership Conference 2021. God bless you and God bless Nigeria.